today we are going to be doing a bit of a smaller build. It's a beach bar. When I was doing my Japanese restaurant, I asked you guys whether you wanted to see this because I'd had the idea, but I didn't know if it was something you wanted to see. But a lot of you said that you did want to see it, so that's what we're doing today. And a while ago I actually asked you guys whether you enjoyed longer builds or shorter builds or like a mixture between the two, and quite a lot of you said that you liked a mixture between the two, and you didn't like big builds all of the time. So that's what I've tried to do today, and do like a little bit of a smaller build for you. I realise now that once it's done, it's still about a 20-minute long video, so I'm sorry for that, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. I've got the video I've got the window open today, so because it's boiling in my room and so stuffy and humid. The weather has been just so strange in the UK at the moment, down south anyway, so I apologise if you can hear like planes or cars. I'm hoping that all you can hear is just some lovely tweeting of birds, but realistically all that's probably going to pick up is the annoying sounds of cars. But yeah, so this is it's supposed to be quite tropical, and I've obviously done the sort of thatched roof that you see in quite a lot of like tropical places on the beach. And I chose the lot in Windenburg, a lot in Windenburg by the beach. So yeah, that's what it is today. But actually in this build, what I did is quite often I actually, especially on my big builds, I actually build it twice. So when you see it, I've probably already built it once previously, and you know, seeing what and that's where I do my experimenting and seeing if I actually really like the build before I actually record it and do it properly. And if, you know, I've built it and I've realised, oh, I actually love this as it is, then quite often I actually draw up a plan on some grid paper and draw it exactly from my drawing, so that it will be the same again. And sometimes I just plan it out on the grid paper to begin with. But this time what I wanted to do is just go for it. So you'll see more like the thing that I've got on the side over there, where it's got a bigger pool and the smaller sort of decking area, that changes so that the decking area is actually really long and then the pool sort of goes off to the side. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted like a building where it was like a wraparound table that people could sit, because you see that quite a lot, at least in movies, and you see that quite a lot on beaches and stuff like that, where people sit around and they drink cocktails and that kind of thing. But I also wanted something that kind of looked a lot like a like you would have as a burger shack by the beach, or like an ice cream place, where it had the hole in the wall, and it had like the menus there, and maybe you'd walk up to there and order the things and then go and sit down. Even though that won't work in the sort of mechanics of the restaurant, you'd have to sit down and have the waiters and all of that kind of stuff. But I liked the idea of it, so that's sort of the theme of it. So I thought that actually up on that decking is the best place for that little hut, so that's why I extended it, and that's why it looks how it does. But I actually used, I think it came with like the deluxe version of The Sims. I don't know, I'm not sure, but it might have been like a extra bit of content, but I'm not sure if that actually comes up if you don't have the deluxe thing. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it counts as like a show hidden object, and I'm sure it's fine. But I put that in because it was so fitting for this lot, and it was really, really tropical. And I don't know whether you've ever seen it when it's like in live mode, but fire comes out of those little, you know, like the little totem heads on the sides. Fire comes out of their mouth. And it's really, really cool. It looks really dangerous, but it looks really, really cool. So that's what I did. And here I go again, putting in a little fountain, or like a little waterfall. And I feel like I keep doing this. I keep putting them in, and I keep putting water features in my builds. And this one, I don't think it came out the best. I think I could have done it a lot better. But it was hard to sort of edit afterwards, and I don't think I could have really done it better. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it could have been done better, possibly by someone else, but it's there now. But if you guys are getting annoyed by all of the water features that I keep putting in all of my builds, then let me know and I'll try and hold back a little bit. But you'll see here that I'm actually putting in sand. I actually quite like it how it is now, but I wanted it more sandy. I thought that this was like a really nice texture, as it was sort of fading in with the grass and stuff like that. But I make it a little bit more opaque, sorry. But I actually tried to begin with to see whether I could do it with, I think someone's mowing their lawn. Okay, I'm gonna stop and close the window. Okay, I hope that's better, and I hope you didn't hear it. What was I talking about? The sand. So I did that to begin with, and I like covered the whole floor and tried to do the texture first, but it ended up looking so bad. So I actually did it after I already put the buildings in, and I think that's something that I think it makes it look more realistic if you have the objects there first and then do sort of the shading and stuff, because I actually go around and do some extra shading around like the buildings and the palm trees, which you'll see me put in later. But I put extra shading and stuff around those later, and I think sometimes I've seen people do it where they've put down the terrain paint first and it looks really, really good, but I can never seem to get it to look really, really natural if I do that. So I'd say put the buildings in and all the details in first and have it as like a finishing touch, because that's, I think, something that works a little bit better and makes it look a little bit more natural, in my opinion. But yeah, I can never seem to get it to look that great if I do it any other way. But I'm sure there are other fantastic builders out there which can do it that way. So for this next bit, I wanted to add some colour. This was before I actually because I put a whole load of like paintings and decorations all over the walls, and this was before then. I was thinking, this is looking too plain. It's like, if this was in real life, then it would look fine, but for like a Sims build, I always feel like it needs to be more detailed for it to actually look good. So that's why I added the stuff, and possibly you wouldn't have like candles and plants all piled up on the floor like I'm doing here, but I wanted to add some colour and I wanted to make it feel more tropical and make it feel like when you're using it, it looked a little bit better. Which I feel like if I'd made it a little bit more plain, I wouldn't have been able to get the colour in, and also had sort of the worn wood that you would get, like beech wood sort of thing, maybe driftwood. Maybe this was made out of driftwood, but I wanted to have that sort of rustic feel and still have the colour. So it was difficult, but I think I managed it. Possibly it's unrealistic, but a lot of my builds are unrealistic, so I don't think that's really a problem. So yeah, I've done the kitchen inside, and the reason why I made it more of a full kitchen, so it hasn't got a stove, but this build has got two sort of cooking stations, so that if you do want to add in an extra one, like an extra cook, or you're having this as like a community lot rather than actually owning it, then you can have two cooks and food comes out quicker. That was the idea. But yeah, so the reason why I put in the fridge and that kind of thing is so that if you have a sim which is working and owns this lot, I've found when I've played the restaurant stuff, when I've just been, doing it for fun on my own without any, recording or anything, I've actually had my Sims working on the lot and sort of interacting with all the customers to try and up the star rating and earn the perk points and things like that. And so because of that, they obviously have their needs too, so they get hungry. And in previous times, what I've done is I've made them sit at the table and have their own table where they order food, but what happens is then no one else can actually use that table, and it's just you and your Larry Tot on that table with no one else, and you could have like 3 or 4 customers there. Also, it takes an age for the food to get there, so you're wasting a lot of time. So the reason why I put the fridge in there is so that if you wanted, you could go and get the food yourself, and that way you could save a lot of time. But it means that you can either get like a snack like cereal or yogurt or something like that, or you can just get a garden salad, or you could even use the other workstation because it works as like a counter and a stove. So I think it works quite well. But yeah, I was adding in some plants. You'll see that I put in some lanterns in the middle there. I thought that looked quite cool, but actually I didn't like it in the end where they were. So you'll see at the beginning I sort of tested to see whether it would look cool when it was going around the edges. But when I was doing it, I was looking at it and I was thinking, well, these hang too low. The Sims aren't going to be able to move in there. And then I kind of forgot that that's why I put them in the middle. And I actually put them around the edge again. And then I was like, oh, but I really like how this looks. But the Sims can't get through because I play tested it. And so I ended up actually extending the roof height, so it's a medium roof height instead of a small roof height. So there's a little bit of fiddling which I have to do, but I'm pretty sure I do most of that off camera because it's basically just moving the same items. But for the main building where like the toilets and the indoor cooking station is, there's more space on the wall, so instead of just moving them around and making it more spaced out, I actually add more stuff. So I'm pretty sure I left that in, but you'll have to see. Anyway, yeah, so I'm putting a little bit of decoration on these little bits. Thing with this is I did it on a diagonal, and there's a reason why I did it on the diagonal, and that was so that the roof would have a small overhang but not a big overhang. You'll see that it's like half a tile, and you can do that with the diagonal, but you can't do that with when it's, you know, in normal orientation. So the counters don't clip together when you're in like a diagonal format, so that I had to use like the Alt button to move them around so that they would still line up. But I have a feeling that means that when you are using this as a restaurant, that long stretch of table won't count. I think like the individual counters will be a table. I'm not entirely sure. I hope that it will work as a table, but I wasn't really able to play test it. I play tested the build as if I was like a restaurant owner, and none of the Sims really seemed to sit around there other than my Sims from my family. So I'm not entirely sure how that works. You guys will have to let me know, but I'm sorry if that doesn't work the way that you wanted it to. But there's not really a way around it. But yeah, I think that this area over here with all the colours and the plants and stuff like that, this is quite a nice area, as if it was like for like when you're eating. But I think the other area is more, it comes across to me like if you're having a few drinks with some friends, I feel like that would, like the other side would be the area that you go to, and obviously you can pick up your drinks and go wherever you want with that. But yeah, you'll just have to let me know how that goes. But I'm actually going away. I'm going away for, I think, a week and a half or 2 weeks to France. I'm going camping with my family. But it means that I won't be here to put up builds. So I'm pre-recording at the moment, and luckily when I was away for like a month or two, I did some recording just for fun. I wanted to build to sort of have a break from all the work that I was doing, but I thought I might as well record it at the same time just in case, so I've got footage for a later date. So a lot of those, well, I know there's one build definitely that's actually a get together only and base game only build, and I know I've got that. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure I did another build, but I'm not sure if I uploaded it already. But we'll just have to see. But I need to make some builds. So if you guys have any ideas, or if there's anything you want to see on my channel, I realise I do a lot of community lots. And quite a few of my community lots actually work as residentials too. But I've realised that I don't do a lot of residential lots. So if you guys want to see more of that from me, some of those, I don't know, I tend to do quite wacky builds, so I'm not sure whether I would still do them as wacky. Maybe they would be a little bit more traditional houses or something like that. But you guys will just have to let me know what kind of thing you want to see. I think I do want to do some more houses. I might do. The one which I've already done is a community lot. But yeah, we'll just have to see. But sometimes I feel like when I do builds, I want to do something that is like completely unique, that I've never seen before. Sometimes I get stuck in sort of a rut where I don't want to upload something that I want to add something to the community, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying, like, quite a lot of the builds that I see of like houses that are really, really traditional, they do add something to the community, but I don't feel like mine are as special or as good as the builds that other people do. So I try to make something that I guess sometimes I do quite unique community lots that are a bit wacky and a bit weird, and so I feel like I'm actually adding to the community when I upload those. But sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not when I'm doing more traditional homes, because I don't know, I just don't think they're as good as quite a lot of other people that do more traditional homes. I don't know though, but maybe I can start doing more, and maybe actually it will come with practice. So I think that maybe I need to just practice and do more of them, and realise that sometimes when I do the builds I will have to delete them because they won't be as good. I don't know, and just start over. But we'll just see. I don't know. I feel like we're our own worst critics, and sometimes I am too hard on myself, and that actually my builds are probably fine and all of that kind of thing. However, sometimes I doubt whether they're actually really worth watching, but we'll see. So back to the build. Obviously we can't do steps up onto the diagonal, but I realised that on the other, like, I've got the main entrance at the front, but I've realised some of the chairs on the other side, like that back row, it's actually quite close to the railings there. So when I was playtesting, the sim couldn't actually get to those, but as soon as I put in that thing at the back, they can get to all three. So it seems to have solved the problem, but we've got these sort of weird triangular offshoot things from the side, which I think is actually really cool. It's not that traditional, it's not how you'd normally see it maybe, but I thought it looked quite cool. I haven't actually, this is the first time I've used these little outdoor heaters. I've never actually, I don't think I've used one before in a build. No, but it's my first time using them, and I never actually got to see how the Sims interact with them in the game. Do they just sort of hold their hands up and sort of warm them up? I don't know. I wonder if it gives a different moodlet, but I had to test that. I was also looking through sort of signage and stuff, and I saw those little tropical neon signs, and I thought, why haven't I put that in yet? That's perfect. So I actually make a sign out of it over here, including that thing, and I sort of push it back so that I use a 9 key to sort of move it up, and then I push it back so that you can't see all of the black stuff. So that you've just got sort of the neon sign. But I think the build is pretty much coming together now. So I'm putting in some plants. I recorded me making sort of the Sims outfits and stuff for the people that work here. I ended up taking it out because I thought this build was long enough as it was. But if you guys like that, then I can add it in the future. But I'm going to come to the end of the video now. So thank you very, very much for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.